Dirty Sports, episode 672. We are live on YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
How you doing, bud?
Hanging in there. How you doing?
Doing all right. It's another rainy, overcast, crummy quality of life day out here in the nasty natty.
Yeah. What's the temperature in Cincinnati right now?
It's like low 50s.
Okay. It's not too bad.
The sun, though, has not been out since last Saturday. I'm talking zero sun.
Quality of life.
Yeah, I was telling somebody that I'm definitely going to need getaways to whether it's LA or some beach town on the East Coast every few months because my body is not used to just days upon days of
You're about to become a Florida guy. You're about to become a guy who goes to Florida.
No, I'd be more North or South Carolina. It's way closer.
Yeah.
Like I don't know about you. Like for me,
North and South Carolina still get decent weather until the spring, I feel like.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's good weather, and what's I mean, it's not the closest, but a 10-hour car drive can put me on the beach in some nice towns out there.
I predict you're going to be like a Jacksonville fucking guy by next Christmas.
No way. No.
Like, I've decided to buy a house in some crap town in Florida.
I haven't been to Florida in a minute.
I haven't been to Florida in a while myself. Florida is such a destination when you're on the East Coast.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Maybe I should go to Tampa and knock on the manager's door and say, "Yo, bro,
what were you thinking?" Yeah, nice segue. Solid.
I try. This is episode 672. We've been doing this for a minute.
Let's get right into it. You saw the tweet I put out when another manager besides Dave Roberts makes a horrible pitching change in Major League Baseball. Like, the decision at this point has been almost universally criticized. No one the amount of current and former players who are trashing him while it happened, the general public, the analytics crowd, the whole thing, like, no one really thinks it was a good move.
Yeah.
I don't know if like the deep analytics people are like, yeah, that's right. You got to hit on soft 17.
Sure.
We'll have to check in with Charlie Ryan on that one. But I haven't seen anybody agree with it. So it's amazing that somebody could make such a universally hated decision and still kind of own it and like think he did the right thing.
But what's he said? I haven't followed that.
He basically went with the third time through the lineup thing, which is just so incredibly dumb. It really, like, that's when the analytics thing just, you're not taking. I feel like the thing with the analytics, whether it be in sports, whether it be in like sports decision making, whether it be whatever, like, you can find numbers that justify anything that you're going to do.
Sure.
So while his numbers might be significantly worse third time through the order, like, I feel like you can show, first of all,
can you hold on a second? Can you hold on?
Yeah.
Or you keep talking. Just give me 1 second.
I know for a fact that you can look at the guy they brought in's numbers in the playoffs alone and just say how bad he was. He gave up a run in his last, I believe, 6 appearances. He gave up a run in 7 of his 9 playoff appearances. He was bad. So looking at the numbers and saying this is how Snell is going to be affected by going through the lineup a third time really doesn't make a difference if you don't have somebody to bring in who's better. Like Blake Snell could have an 800 batting average against his third time through the lineup. If the guy that you have to bring in is Andy, you should stick with Blake Snell. Like I just feel like you can find numbers to justify anything. And then of course, like people have done a deep dive on the analytics. He's actually better the third time through the lineup than he is the second time through the lineup. Also he was just dealing. I mean, I know you're a big NFL network guy, so I don't know if that translates over to being a big MLB network guy. But they had Al Leiter in the MLB post game talking about he threw 147 pitches in a game in the World Series for the Mets. Like, you have to start living and dying by your best players. You look at the guy who basically got them to the World Series and got them to Game 6, Arozarena, who was incredible, who set records. I'm sure the analytics for him could prove that there are certain guys he shouldn't be in the lineup against and certain guys he should, but you would never do that. You'd never say, oh, he struggles against lefties that throw sliders, and you would take him out. You'd be like, dude, the guy's hit 10 home runs in the playoffs. We're going to play him. That's the same approach that you have to have when it's handling pitchers. There's nobody alive who thinks that was a good call. And it was very clearly just like a analytics call based on full seasons, 162 games, all that, which this isn't that. This is, you have to play this game, for lack of a better term, in a bubble, right? Like, this is separate from all those games you play all year.
But not only that, do managers not understand the psychological effect? If Snell is just mowing down Dodgers hitters, they are saying to themselves, God, I don't want to face this guy again.
I think the problem is these days is that there's this, Moneyball and the analytics and whatever have taken over, and there's baseball's an especially numbers driven game. So I think when you see a lot of these guys who have little to no managerial experience at the big league level come in, they do it with an agreement that by signing up for this job, they're going to listen to the numbers. That seems to be what it is. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but there's a rumor Tony La Russa might get hired by the White Sox.
I saw that.
I feel like it's going to be a different situation there where Tony La Russa can come in and say, look, I fucking manage the games. You want to give me an analytics guy who I can go ask things? Great. Put him in my dugout and I'll ask him. But I feel like he's going to have an agreement that he doesn't have to listen to that, or he's breaking some part of his contract. Where I feel like a lot of these young guys, including both of the managers in the World Series, not that Dave Roberts is that young, but he's certainly a first-time manager, he managed the Padres for a hot minute, I think.
Yeah, he did.
Like a guy with little to no managerial experience just signs up and says, yes, I agree that I will do this. I don't want to read it because I should have asked permission, but a dirtball, whose name I'll leave out, sent me a text exchange that he had with a guy who's currently inactive on the Tampa Bay Rays. He's in the Rays organization in some form or another, and this dirtball was trading messages with him, and he said it's 100% an analytics guy on the bench made that decision, and that it's just we're going to go with what the numbers say every single time. And that he doesn't agree with that, but that's just the way it is.
Well, a few things in the analytics. Obviously, the analytics have overtaken all sports, in particular baseball. But let's not forget, they only take you so far. I mean, Moneyball and Billy Beane and the Oakland Athletics are the prime example. Joe, remind me, how many World Series have they been to since he took over?
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of a different issue. But
it's not. How many World Series have they won? The answer is 0 to both. But my point is, the
answer is the thing with the analytics is, yeah, exactly. But with Moneyball, the A's are using the analytics to find guys that fit their certain analytical standards and yet are undervalued. The Oakland A's want Mookie Betts just as much as the Dodgers. The analytics say Mookie Betts is a great baseball player. The Oakland A's just refuse to pay him and refuse. They just, so what they're doing is they're using the analytics to not spend money.
No, I understand.
If Billy Beane had an open purse, he could do a whole lot better.
No, I understand that. I understand the reason that they do that is because they are financially handicapped. But my point is, you see Moneyball being played, in my opinion, by teams who aren't strapped, who don't have those financial constraints, because you see that Moneyball being played in the playoffs. Like the thought of some analytic nerd making a decision, and like you have said on this show many times, taking out momentum, taking out the sports psychology side of it, it makes absolutely no sense. How happy, and John Smoltz said this great during the broadcast, how happy are those players in the Dodgers when they realize they don't have to face a guy who has 9 Ks on them through the first couple times?
Absolutely. And again, to me, it's just the analytics. You can find numbers in the analytics that can justify anything. Okay, Blake Snell's, again, third time through the order, or how he, is against it seems like they're only looking at the analytics for their guy. What about the analytics for the other guy? It's just not possible to process all that stuff simultaneously, because if they did, they would know Mookie Betts is trash against lefties and he's the guy that's coming up. And you have to factor all these things in together. Also, there is, when you talk about analytics, you got to talk about sample size. What about how is Blake Snell the third time through the order in postseason elimination games? Because now you have clutch factor, momentum, all this stuff. And it's like, they don't have that number, because how many times has that happened? How many times has it happened that even if Blake Snell has pitched a third time through the order in a playoff elimination game, what about the guy that they're bringing in for him? How many times has he pitched in a playoff elimination game? Are they factoring in how many times the guys who are up for the Dodgers have seen the same guy? They're talking about Blake Snell, third time through the order. How about the fact that this guy's pitched in every fucking World Series game? They've seen the guy that they're bringing in more often than they've seen Blake Snell in the World Series.
Yeah. Well,
it's just, there's too many numbers. You just got to use it as a guide. And then you've got to also use common sense. And there's no more proof of that than what happened. Every single person alive with common sense thinks it was the wrong decision.
But from a broader perspective, it makes me really not like baseball, I'll be honest, because it's not just in Tampa. I have been frustrated with my hometown Reds the same way they do the analytics. You've seen it with the Dodgers. My point is, this is I would call it a problem within the sport. And if I'm watching a game, whether it's a team I care about or not, it devalues the game, in my opinion. I would go that far. It devalues the actual emotion of the game.
It's just like anything else. It's a pendulum, Moneyball worked to some degree for the A's. Then every team said they're competing every year on a low budget. We have to get into that analytics game. And now it's, when does the pendulum swing back to going, okay, the analytics have helped us acquire guys for good value and helped us make certain decisions over a 162 game regular season that you play the numbers the whole time. But I said this before when we were talking about this. Everybody talks about the book, like blackjack. It's like, yes, if in the long run you go to a casino and you play blackjack by the book, first of all, you're still going to lose. Second of all, you're going to win more in the long term. But if you are smart, if you're counting cards and you have taken it to the next level, then you are ignoring the book at certain times when the information that you have personally justifies that. And that's
Yeah.
and that's literally the only way to win playing blackjack long term, is to have an edge over the numbers.
Well, on the other side of things, look how Dave Roberts closed out from the Dodgers perspective. He left Urias in the game because he was pitching great. He didn't pull him. My point is, in a way, he did what he normally does not do. He trusted the momentum. He trusted the guy who was pitching well, and he shut down the door and ended
Well,
the game.
he's sick of getting the Kevin Cash treatment every year for the past 5 years or whatever it is.
Yeah. And
rightfully so.
And look how that played out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Dave Roberts managed a spectacular World Series, but the one thing is, and we said it last year, I said it extensively about Dave Roberts last year. My biggest criticism of his managerial style last year was, if you're in the World Series and you don't have a top 5 guys in your lineup that never change, then you don't know what you're doing. Like, the idea that you have the talent to get to the World Series, but you're adjusting your lineup card every single day is reckless. And this year, he had a top 6 that essentially never changed. Now, he is saying that the numbers prove that. I would say that doing that every day makes the numbers work.
Yeah. Sure.
So it is the robot that is Dave Roberts learning? Is the AI become so advanced that the robots are now thinking for themselves? I don't know. But he certainly did in this World Series, from a pitching and a lineup perspective, corrected all the things that didn't that hurt them the last couple of years. Now, here's the thing. Hopefully, Justin Turner didn't infect cancer survivor Dave Roberts, because God forbid if Dave Roberts were to get sick and they replace him with an actual competent manager, no one's beaten the Dodgers for a decade. So let's just hope Justin Turner didn't get cancer survivor Dave Roberts sick.
Well, Dave didn't help his cause. Dave wasn't
by
wearing a mask.
sitting next to him.
Neither of them were wearing masks at that point.
Unbelievable.
The Justin Turner thing, there's a lot to cover here, from what he actually did to possible Major League Baseball cover-ups. I mean, this is deep. Wouldn't you agree? Like, this is a heavy, real deep topic, because
yeah, Major League Baseball fucked up first.
Like, they find out in the latter part of the game that he is positive for COVID.
Right.
That's fishy to me.
And they pull him right after the Dodgers take a lead, right after his at bat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So yeah, no, Major League Baseball is a dumpster fire. Rob Manfred deserved all the booze he got, and it sounds like Rob Manfred already has COVID. I mean, that dude was like, was he actually alive when he was giving that speech after? He sounded horrible.
He sounded intoxicated.
Yeah. Maybe he found out about the Justin Turner news and just chugged a case of beer. But there's a lot of issues with this, from Major League Baseball's handling it to the bubble situation. Now there's fans in the bubble. Now there's families in the bubble. All this thing. It just seems like so many people in our country, they saw the light at the end of the tunnel and they got relaxed. And also, we're talking about, you can put it on Major League Baseball. How does Justin Turner get it in the first place? Aren't you supposed to be whatever? But if Justin Turner's as reckless every day as he was post game, I could totally see how he got it. Probably went to fucking Chipotle. Listen, let me just say this before let me just say this before we get too deep down this rabbit hole. Justin Turner was, and I say was because it's no longer true, the only Dodger I liked.
Yeah.
The only guy I rooted for. I was so happy for Justin Turner. The only thing that made me want the Dodgers to win was Justin Turner. He was a great Met. He was awesome for us. Played every position we could have asked him to. He did everything he needed to do. We released him anyway. He went on. He proved the Mets wrong. He's the heart and soul of this Dodgers team for fucking 7 seasons or however long he's been there. And I was rooting for him. And now he can go fuck himself. Now I officially like no Dodgers.
Well, look, there's a lot here. Obviously, we touched on it briefly. The conspiracies of baseball covering up as positive test, baseball knowing if the Dodgers lose this game, there's major ramifications.
Sure. And them not wanting to postpone a World Series game and them not wanting. Let's just cover that with a giant blanket that is Major League Baseball is as shitty as they've always been. Rob Manfred tried to ruin this season before it started. The idea that baseball covered this up and tried to save face, got lax with the bubble, got lax with testing, let the game happen even though they knew somebody was maybe positive. Yeah, Major League Baseball fucking sucks. I feel like we've covered that plenty on the show.
Yeah. So we can get right to Justin Turner in particular.
Garbage person.
Look, obviously, I'm very biased dealing with what I've been through myself, my family.
But Andy, I said this to you before the show. I feel like if you're biased, I'm biased. If I'm biased, anybody who listens to the show who has a soul is biased. Because you're like anybody who listens to the show with regularity knows somebody who lost somebody to somebody else's reckless behavior handling COVID.
Yeah. It's tough, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's really tough for me. I'm not gonna get angry and I'll just be honest to all the listeners. Like it's tough for me when I see people not wearing masks when they should.
But Justin Turner wants to be in the World Series picture. How will anybody know I won the World Series unless I'm in the World Series picture? Guess what, Justin Turner? Put your world champion jersey on and your world champion hat on and sit in your isolation booth, and I'll send somebody in there to take a picture of you, and then I'll have Jay Lloyd put you, Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, and Kobe in the World Series picture.
Yeah, look, I understand the human element. That's why I'm trying to understand and have empathy. Like I understand you want a World Series, you want to be with your teammates. Like I'm not denying that. As far as what I try to say, what would I do in this position?
I'll tell you what I do, Andy. I have a fucking 3-month-old nephew that I haven't seen. My sister has her first child. The only girl in our family has her first child, and I have not seen that child because I don't want to infect that child, and I am not sick.
Sure. Yeah, look.
So Justin Turner is a fucking asshole.
Well, I think he obviously wasn't thinking right, and he's extremely.
He was told not to leave isolation.
Yeah. No, I know, and he was extremely selfish, and.
But Andy, he was around the team the whole day. Let me ask you something for all the stupid people who want to use all the devil's advocate things. How many people do you think on the Dodgers, how many people do you think Justin Turner hugs on a typical baseball day? 1? 0? How many do you think he hugs after you win the World Series?
A lot.
Yeah. God forbid something happens to, again, I'm saying this as a Dodger hater. God forbid something happens to cancer survivor Dave Roberts, and we have to deal with a Dodgers dynasty because they get a competent manager. God forbid, the only reason the Dodgers are competitive is because they got a new ownership group. God forbid somebody goes and gets one of the owners who has HIV, the face of their ownership group, sick. And I'll tell you one thing, and this is completely serious. I really hope no asshole who has we're not sure whether or not he's sick or not yet, an inconclusive COVID test goes and brings Vin Scully a World Series hat. Don't you fucking dare bring Vin Scully a World Series hat with your inconclusive tests. People just don't consider the fact that this isn't about them and the 25 guys that they've been around for 6 months and they're all 20 something and healthy. If
Yeah,
Justin Turner gets somebody sick who gets Vin Scully sick, I'll put Justin Turner in the ground.
yeah. Well, I think that's the point again. It's no different than where it's been for the last 7-8 months. It's not about the healthy Dodgers and the young prowess of professional athletes. It's about who it can spread to, and I think that's important for people to remember in all these things. And this virus, look, guys. At the end of the day, the entire world shut down, and did I have my questions at first on this? Of course. You can go back, you can listen to any episodes that I was doing at the beginning of this. I didn't think it was a big deal, but I changed. I think it's important for some people to change. They don't shut down an entire world unless this is serious.
I mean, France is closed again. France is closed. There's a closed sign on France.
So, once again, these are unprecedented times, like you've joked about, but it's the truth. This notion that it's not real. I don't know if I've said this on the show, Joe, but I'll say it. And it's real personal for me. After my father passed away, the doctor said to my brothers and I, of all the things he's seen, all the diseases, all the cancers, you name it, he's never seen anything like COVID, what it does to the body. Those were his words verbatim right after my dad died. I've never seen anything like COVID as far as how it destroys the body. This is coming from a doctor. So, look, guys, I'm just saying be smart, be safe. And for Justin Turner, wear a mask when you have to. Be smart. And I agree with Joe. Like for him to do that is just so blatantly selfish. It's
also it's selfish on another level too. You know, I was watching Saturday Night Live with my girlfriend, and then at the end of the show, everybody's got a mask on when they say goodnight, and she's like, they all just didn't have masks on the show. Why are they having it now? And I'm like, it's not about like the optics that people are talking about, but it's just kind of being like, hey, just a reminder, fucking wear your mask. It's like people keep arguing, oh, Donald Trump says it's a hoax. Donald Trump doesn't believe it. Donald Trump, whatever. And he's going, of course, I take it very seriously. I had it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, you never have a mask on.
Yeah.
And the thing is, maybe you're well aware, just like Justin Turner is, that you're the president of the United States, and you can become a full socialist when you need to and go to a hospital and get all the best free care via the government and survive. So it's not going to affect you. But what about the people who look up to you? And no one should think about that more than a Major League Baseball player. I mean, the amount of things that I did growing up because my favorite Major League Baseball player did them. Wearing fucking flip-up sunglasses, wearing a certain glove, wearing my hat the certain way, wearing a wristband. Every single decision I made as a kid was based on my favorite athletes. And there's a kid out there who now thinks that this is not a big deal because Justin Turner told him it is not a big deal.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And like you said, I know it sucks, but you have to do the right responsible thing here. It's like you said about your family. You can't see your sister or a child because you're doing the smart thing. It's like a few weeks ago when I first got here, I was pretty sure it was allergies, but my brother had invited me over for dinner, and I called him. I said, look, man, the last 24 hours, I've had a big time runny nose. I'm sneezing a lot. I'm pretty sure it's allergies, but I just want to let you know, if you don't feel comfortable with me coming over to have dinner with your family, I respect that. Now, Joe, I could have just been a dick, right? And just gone over there.
Because you wanted a picture with your family. How would it? You need a picture.
I mean, it's look. There's no
Garnet
other way
gnome
around
looking
it.
motherfucker.
There's no other way around it as far as the selfish act. And like I said, I do still understand. I'm sure it wasn't an easy decision because you don't know if you're going to win another World Series. But
the thing is what part of it? Like, I understand the whole You won the World Series thing. It's again the optics of it in terms of going out on the field. Like, what part of that did he need that he wasn't going to get in the near future regardless? Like, like the picture. That's it, the picture, right?
Probably.
I mean, we're not talking about he wants to celebrate with his team, clearly we're not doing champagne spraying on each other in times of COVID. He can talk to his guys. He can celebrate with his guys. He can get high fives and handshakes. Like, what was it they needed to do? We're not doing a parade. What was this? What was this like? He just won his first World Series. It would be unfair for him not to get the T-shirt. I don't understand what it is.
Well, I think at the end of the day, whether it's Justin Turner or anyone else who takes this lightly, they haven't been impacted personally and they haven't seen it. And from somebody who's spent a lot of time in the COVID ward of a hospital, whether it's with my father or seeing other people as you walk by, it's awful. It's the worst. It's heartbreaking. It makes you cry. It's absolutely awful. There's no other way around it. And I think if Justin Turner had maybe experienced some of those things, he wouldn't have done that, or someone else. And I think that's just the message that I want to say to people is, look, we all want to get lax at times. We're all over this. I get it, but there's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
And
I mean, look, the idea of over it, is when were we not over it? I mean, we're going back to the 2-week quarantine, the month quarantine. That was in March.
yeah,
I mean, and look, I get the whole professional thing too. It's like, dude, I'm a fucking comedian. You're a comedian. Like, we can't work at all. The idea that that somebody would be able to get us back to work, and then I would get to do a show, and then I would get to make my money, and I would get to do what I've spent my life learning to do and trying to do, and do it and successfully achieve it, and walk off the stage and feel great about it. But then I got to be able to have beers with people after the show, man. I mean, like, if I can't soak up my win, well, I can't, then what am I doing here, man? I got to take some pictures with some dirt balls. Kiss me, guys. Hug me. Like, the idea that, like, Justin Turner doesn't get satisfaction from winning a World Series. He also needs to take a picture and hug a couple dudes who he spends every day with. It just is like, dude, you're thinking totally of yourself.
yeah,
And like, you couldn't be more selfish.
sure. Look, I get it, and you make a great point. I know when you do comedy shows, the thing you enjoy probably most is having a cold Miller Lite with the dirt balls after the show. There it is.
Absolutely.
The
Nothing
official,
feels better than hearing, hey man, let me buy you a Miller Lite.
right?
Nothing's better.
Oh, I know. That's like your favorite thing after the shows is when dirt balls come up and they're like, "Hey, Prano, can I get you a cold Miller Lite?" And Joe, eventually we'll be back there. We will. We'll be back there. You'll be drinking some cold Miller Lites with the listeners. But as of now, you've been handling that mostly by yourself at your new location, correct?
Correct. I'm sitting an arm's length from a Miller Lite mini fridge full of bottles and cans of the greatest Pilsner on planet Earth.
Miller Lite, great taste with only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs. However you and your friends are enjoying Miller time, you can have the original light beer delivered by going to MillerLite.com/dirty sports and find the delivery options near you. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Dirt balls, if you want to stay warm inside, like what I'm dealing with of this Midwest quality of life weather, don't even leave your house. Just go to MillerLite.com/dirty sports. Have it delivered to you today, and you can relax in the friendly confines of your home with your friends and your family. Joe, before we move on, I have to bring up the Ruther Curse.
Oh yeah, strong these days.
And we got a great tweet from our boy Emiliano, who is a local SoCal kid, and I got to meet him a few years ago, actually at a Dodgers Reds game, and he made a great point. The minute I leave Los Angeles, Dodgers win a title.
Yeah, it's Dodgers win a title and Lakers win a title.
That's a good point. Yeah, I never thought about that.
Both of them. Literally, the city that you were in, the second you leave, it's just racking up championships. It's got 2 professional sports championships since you left town like 17 days ago.
Yeah.
Now,
it really is. It's 17 days ago. That's crazy.
The question is, what is it? How will the Ruther Curse affect the football teams in town? Because you're technically a Rams fan. So
They looked great on Monday.
right. But now, is the Ruther Curse help or hurt the Rams? And then you're also a Chargers fan. You're a former Chargers season ticket holder, although
No,
you
I'm
never
a, I'm
were
a
able.
current. I'm a current.
Your current
I
season
still
ticket holder.
own I still own the seat license for those Chargers tickets.
So does that help or hurt the Chargers?
Herbert's winning Rookie of the Year.
Well, not anymore. He's not.
No, I'm saying if the reverse curse because I left.
Right. But my point is, does the curse care that you left, but you still root for these temes?
That's
Like
a great point.
I think the curse still hurts them. I think the teams that
I
you
rooted for the Lakers to win it all.
sure, but you're not a Lakers. Actually, you're kind of of all the basketball teams, I'd say you're probably a Lakers fan most.
I mean, I followed them. I follow the Lakers now for 13, 14 years.
Yeah. Well, this could be good news for the Rams then.
Yeah, the defense really stepped it up. I do want to share what I posted on Twitter, cleaning out my old bedroom. I found my 2 ticket stubs from the 1990 World Series. Pretty cool. And I was right. The tickets were $40 against the Oakland Athletics. And then I found, which is I think is even cooler. I know you love that. The 1994 World Series that never happened because of the strike. I have an official World Series baseball that my dad gave me.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So I remember what happened.
That's like the, Tampa Bay's World Series t-shirts that they're sending to like Somalia right now for the kids to wear.
Sure, but I think it's even cooler because it never even happened.
Yeah. They just were out there. That's awesome that your dad was like, I'm going to pick one of these up.
Well, no, I know what happened. He won it. Something they would do stuff at work sometimes or whatever. Yeah. And I believe at the time he was working for Prudential and he won it and he brought it home. And I remember him saying, I have a 1994 World Series ball. And I was like, what? It never happened, Dad. He's like, I know. That's why this is a collector's item and I'm going to give it to you. And it's in one of those ball cases. So shout out to Walt, still here, still finding some great nugs Walt related. And I even found a newspaper cutout of him roasting me when I graduated high school. I was like, what? Like, it never ends.
He roasted you in the newspaper?
No, it was like a cartoon cutout. And basically it was showing, it's one of those things that they do in, what do they even call? Like in the papers where it's like a comment, a political or social comment. And my dad labeled himself and my mom and then me. And I was the graduate who, it was basically, I can't really describe it. You'd have to see the picture. I'll send it to you off air. But it's basically my dad's like, hey, you graduated high school. Congrats. I cut this out and labeled, it said something about like, my parents are, they look defeated, the people in the picture that their kid graduated. And the kid's future is basically on welfare. And that was supposed to be me.
Roasted.
I mean, savage, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, Prano. I think I might be able to put together a nice little collection of stuff for the new setup here.
I love it.
Maybe we'll deem it the Walt Ruther Memorial Studio.
Yeah. Live from Walt Street.
So we obviously discussed a lot about Justin Turner concerning the COVID stuff. the COVID stuff is still prevalent for the NBA for next season. The Raptors still cannot play in Canada. And
Right.
I mean, the truth, here we are, it's November 1st on Sunday. They might start the season by Christmas, possibly. It doesn't look like that'll change. My question to you, where should the Toronto Raptors play if they have to play in the United States?
To me, it's a no-brainer. Moving to Syracuse, Carrier Dome, great basketball history up there, great basketball fans up there. Put them in Syracuse's court.
I haven't really seen that, but I like it.
I mean, the baseball thing is, obviously sort of the sister city across the border is Buffalo for Toronto. I'm sure Buffalo has I'm sure the Buffalo the University of Buffalo has a thing. I'm sure the Buffalo Sabres play in an arena. So they could do that route just like the Blue Jays did, but it's like Buffalo just gets to become this like new Toronto for sports. I say give it to a place that has some basketball culture at least. It's not that much farther.
But this is what I think they're trying to do it in a town that loves, and I know Syracuse obviously supports their team, but like I see a big push is being made by Louisville because they have a state of the art. It's only like 5 or 6 years old. It's basically an NBA arena where they play. And obviously basketball's so big in that state. I've seen Louisville's made a big push. And
now, are they doing basically like an expansion test? Is that the theory?
There's also that theory. That's why Kansas City is making a big push as well.
Because obviously the NBA has been talking about Vegas forever. The NBA is the first thing that put Vegas on the map in terms of sports. They had the All-Star game there that got the ball rolling on all the other stuff. But obviously that would be like a Western thing, and they're in the Eastern Conference, so you can't really do that. I guess if you're doing it as an expansion thing, a Louisville, like if you're going to do Kansas City, may as well do Vegas.
Well, Louisville has been talked for years as far as a possible NBA team because, like I said, basketball is just so big down there.
Right.
And they already have a facility.
I like Syracuse. But that's not considering it. Obviously, the NBA is not expanding to Syracuse.
Yeah, and you also have obviously a big venue for social distancing if you're going to do it in the Carrier Dome.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think where are we at? It's like I said, it's almost November. Do you like the idea of them trying to start Christmas, or do you think they should wait? From what I've seen, it's Christmas or possibly Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which would be like the second, third week of January.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably more realistic. I mean, obviously, we've been saying for years, especially on this show, that Christmas is the unofficial start to basketball season. And there's been talk pre-COVID that like moving the start of NBA season to Christmas just makes sense. You skip through the baseball, you skip through the start of football, you put it toward the end of football where you're only competing with the NFL for a couple weeks, and you're still done before football comes back in September. So I love the Christmas idea, but I mean, the season just ended. The idea of these guys, I think you got to talk to the players. This should be a question for the 25 best players in the NBA and a small survey, or the 25 longest vets in the league, or whatever the case may be. Pick a small circle of trusted guys who have been around for a while and say, hey, how does this affect you if we come back now versus then? I think January is more realistic. Martin Luther King Day is always a big NBA day as is. It's Monday, and they play a lot of day basketball games that day. So it holds similar weight. I think in any other given year, Christmas is a no-brainer. To me, just give it a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
But no. Look, it's ask LeBron, whatever LeBron says.
Well, I agree. I think maybe give him some more time. we've had a lot of sports. Let's not forget we've had a lot of sports the last few months. We didn't have any for months, and now we've just been inundated with nonstop.
And doing it again and bringing back the start of NBA season at the end of football season during the playoffs. It's like, why go Christmas when you can just have the littlest bit of carryover? I mean, the first couple of weeks of the NBA are usually pretty slow. So let the NBA get their first couple warm-up weeks post-COVID, or post the full COVID bubble season out of the way. And then as football ends, they'll be ready to go.
Okay, here's a good question for you, Joe. Because I know they're saying it's going to take a while to figure out after this election unfolds with all the absentee ballots and vote by mail. Will there be an official president, as in we know who won, before the start of the NBA season?
Oh, but NBA season, no. I was going to say before the next NBA champion is crowned. No.
You were still going to say no on the NBA champion.
Yeah, I mean, I was joking a little bit, but
okay.
I think, every single thing I know about, I honestly, I guess that kind of depends on who wins. I think, and you know me in terms of political, I'm certainly not a Democrat nor a Republican. So take everything that I say, I'm not criticizing one side over the other, but I just think if Biden loses, Biden loses. If Trump loses, he's going to fight it until armed military members drag him out of the White House.
Yeah, well, I tend to agree with you there that Trump would put up more of a fight if he lost.
I mean, his brand is, if he doesn't like it, it's fake. So the idea that he doesn't stall for 5 months being like, fake, the whole thing's fake, mail's fake, ballot boxes are fake, people are fake. I've seen people. I saw a fake person walking the streets, cast a vote for Biden. It's all fake. It's fake news. It's fake reality at this point. Does the phrase fake reality make no sense whatsoever? Of course it does. But look, that's what it is. It's fake reality. The only thing that's real is the thing that New York Post writes. And I think we could all agree that there's no more trusted news source in the world than the New York Post.
What is your plan election day? And I know I've texted you, but look, this is a reality.
I'm golfing with Tug Coker.
I know, but I mean like at night. This is a reality that I don't know if you've seen it, or you sent me the thing about Santa Monica PD is already prepared. I saw they're shutting down starting this weekend. Rodeo Drive, Beverly Hills is going to be on lockdown for possible unrest. Is there some concerns for you?
Not really. If I was in Venice, still maybe. My neighborhood, my new neighborhood's pretty secluded. Pretty. Feel like it's a world all of its own.
I was going to say you're in a good area.
Fortified compound outside of Los Angeles, California.
I would feel safe where you're at.
Yeah, but who knows? I mean, you and I talked about it. I think it's going to be bad news regardless of who wins. I think the streets are going to be. I mean, look, it was a little wild here the other night after the Dodgers won. I don't think, regardless of how this ends up, is going to be very good for anybody. I think if Trump wins, it'll be very similar to the post George Floyd protest vibe. And I think if Trump wins, a lot of guys who, or I should say, if Trump wins, it's going to be a lot like the George Floyd thing. I think a lot of those same people are going to come out angrily protesting things. And I think if Biden wins, a lot of guys who bought AR-15s because, the cheerleaders made fun of their dick size or whatever are going to go protect Republican governors and the president and try to fight people that try to make them leave their election, their presidential palaces.
By the way, on a side note, you mentioned Venice. Venice got some serious airtime on the Joe Rogan Matthew McConaughey podcast.
Oh, really?
Not serious, but Rogan had a fair amount of few things to say about Venice, and videos he had seen recently, and I know for a fact it was basically the video you and I posted 2 months ago. I'm not saying it was that video, but it was that same area in Penmar Golf Course, because he was telling McConaughey, he's like, I got this video that my friend sent me. He goes, it's like a mile long in Venice
Oh
of
yeah,
homeless
yeah.
encampments. And he was going on and on talking about Venice. And I wanted to be like, Rogan, Joe and I have been talking about, Joe Prano and I have been talking about this
Yeah.
for years.
Matthew McConaughey's like, let me see the video. And he's like, all right, look at these tents. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. It just keeps going. All right. Another tent. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Just keep living, man. Just keep living.
I do like him a lot, I will say. And then
McConaughey.
that podcast made me like him even like that much more.
Yeah.
I got
What nice little cream filling between the shit sandwich of Kanye and Alex Jones, huh? And for Joe Rogan.
Oh, he had Alex Jones on again?
Yeah, with Tim Dillon.
I didn't see that, and I haven't listened to the Kanye one. I saw a lot of
Kanye
negative.
one is mind-blowingly dumb at times.
Yeah,
I mean, there's 25-minute chunks where Rogan just goes like, so yeah, what about? And then Kanye's on some other trip for 25 minutes. I'm like, is Joe Rogan taking a shit? Where is he? I mean, at one point, Kanye alludes to Brandon and Bruce Lee being murdered by the government, and Joe Rogan doesn't say anything for a half an hour, and then he's like, "What's the deal with that Bruce Lee thing?" And you're like, "Dude, he's long gone. Now he's talking about organic farming, and you're going back to the Bruce Lee thing."
Unbelievable. Well, Joe, we do have our week 8 NFL picks.
All right, all right, all right.
And as always, our weekly NFL picks are brought to you by our friends at Game Theory Picks, who provide sports betting advice at an affordable price. Subscription options include weekly, monthly, and yearly. Since sports have made their return on July 20th, a $50 per play bettors have profited $600 by following Game Theory Picks. Guys, if you want to make the right picks, just do this right now. Go to GameTheoryPicks.com and use promo code DIRTY. This will help you receive your first month of Game Theory Picks for just $40. And Game Theory Picks is not just going to cover football. It's going to cover all the other sports going on for the whole thing. Just $40, Joe. Use promo code DIRTY.
I love our friends at Game Theory Picks. I used some Game Theory Picks this past weekend and made a couple bucks. I watched Game 4 of the World Series with Chris Wilde at his place, and I brought over some pre-made tiki drinks, and I woke up so hungover on Sunday morning I couldn't get my Instagram picks in, and I felt terrible because I took a couple Prano picks, parlayed them with a Game Theory pick, and I made some dough, and I didn't give it to our fans. So follow Game Theory Picks, sign up for Game Theory Picks, use their promo code, follow me on Instagram. Together, those things will make you some money.
Yeah, just go to GameTheoryPicks.com and use promo code DIRTY to get your first month for just $40. Okay, before we hop into the games, we do have some news.
Okay.
They have announced the Super Bowl will be limited to 20% of the fans. This year's Super Bowl is in Tampa Bay. Any thoughts? You're just like, well, it's expected.
Yeah, I mean,
and real quick, Justin Turner will not be allowed because masks will be enforced.
I at this point, just because there's a rule in place, are we sure that means Justin Turner's not going to do it? I mean,
yeah, good point.
Justin Turner was told to stay in isolation. I'm pretty sure Justin Turner might be playing in the Super Bowl.
Hey, real quick about that. Could they not physically just say, dude, you're not going anywhere? Like, this is a health concern. Like, is that stupid?
That's one of the criticisms of Major League Baseball in this situation. But I guess the thing is, like, who, and this speaks to Justin Turner's unreasonableness, but who thinks in their right mind that somebody has gotten a positive COVID test, a second one in a day, basically, and they need an armed guard to not go hugging people.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's just saying, like, Major League Baseball, did you not think that there was a chance that Justin Turner was one of the most selfish piece of shit assholes that has ever walked the face of the earth? Like, we actually didn't consider that. We thought when we told him he had COVID, he wouldn't kiss his wife on the mouth and put his arm around a cancer survivor. But we were, sorry, we didn't factor in that he's a giant asshole.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess you make the point there.
So
I might have even seen something. I don't know if this is true. 20% capacity and then some sort of bubbles. I don't know how they would do that in the stands.
Yeah. I guess there would be like pods and you have to come with your friend. It's just, to me, it's like, of all the Super Bowls to go to, like, this is the one you want to go to. You want to go to the 20% weird Super Bowl.
I agree. Well, Prentice, that's how I feel right now about games. Like there's very limited capacity at the Bengals games, and I always laugh because, like, the 1-win Bengals is not the event I'm going to. And by the way, I would feel comfortable going. I'm not saying that people are really risking it, but there's more of a chance that you are risking getting a virus to watch the Bengals. Do you see my point? Like I do kind of chuckle inside when I see these games and say, wait, you're willing to risk
for
COVID
the Bengals?
For the Bengals, for the Jags? Like, some of these teams, you're like,
I totally understood Dodgers fans and Tampa fans being there for the World Series.
Sure.
And I understand, fans of the teams that make the Super Bowl wanting to go. But I'm also kind of at the point where, like, you're a Dodgers fan. You've been to the last 3 out of 4 World Series. You're going to fly to Texas during a pandemic and go to a baseball game? Like, it kind of makes more sense for the Rays. Like, to me, it's the same thing as, like, okay, it's in Tampa. The Bucks make it, maybe. But, like, if you're the Chiefs, if you're a Chiefs fan, are you going to a Super Bowl? You just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. It really is an interesting question of, like, who really wants to see these events?
Honestly, I think who it is in those situations are, like, value shoppers / hoaxers who are like, I don't believe in it anyway. So now I just get to go to the World Series for cheap.
Yeah. I think I definitely see the value. I mean, you could be right on the hoaxers. I definitely see the value shopper thing of people thinking that. Well, the Bengals did trade Carlos Dunlap this week. It's been all over the local news. And as someone who cares more about the Seahawks, I like that move. Now, he's in his 11th year, and he's had a great career. He's got like 85 plus sacks or something. Their defense sucks. It's a pass rusher who has experience.
Yeah. He basically forced his way out of town. He was sending shit tweets and just being kind of a general. He also hasn't been that good. Like, yeah, he's a vet, but, like, he hasn't been good for the Bengals lately.
Well, he hasn't been playing, and look, for anybody who wants to not look, if I had to play for the Bengals organization for 11 years, I'd be angry too.
But I think in terms of the Seahawks, every addition to the defense is a good addition to the defense. He's not making them worse.
I saw a stat there. You want to hear the stat on the Seahawks defense?
Yeah.
They are on pace to shatter the record for most yards per game in a season, which was held by the Saints. I forget which year, but sometime in the last, like, 7 or 8 years. Like this is how bad they are.
Yeah.
All-time most yards per game. I think they're giving up like 480 yards a game. Yikes. All right, well, let's get to tonight's game.
They got to control that ball on offense a little bit more. Let the running backs cook. Keep their defense off the field.
Don't you dare take a dig at my boy, Mr.
I didn't take
Unlimited.
I didn't take a dig at your boy. I'm taking a dig at the Let Russ Cook crowd, who are some of my favorite.
Well, they did do a
all
180,
sports.
by the way. I don't know if did you see that stat on Sunday Night Football? It's crazy. The Seahawks ran the ball the most on first down last year. Now they throw it the most. Like they have just done. Where I definitely agree with you more. We can find a happy middle. It's like the political spectrum. You don't got to go far one way. You don't go far that way. Let's find the happy balance. All right. Well, tonight's games start off with the NFC South, Joe. We have the Panthers and Falcons.
Yes.
And let's see here. I'm sorry. It's in Carolina. Hold on. Let me pull up the spread. It's in Carolina, and the Panthers are, let's see here. They are, it's dropped. Or no, it's increased. It opened at 1.5. The Panthers are currently 2.5 point favorites.
2.5. I'm gonna still go with the Panthers. I was gonna say, when you said it dropped, if it had swung to the Falcons, I definitely would have gone to the Panthers. I think the Panthers win this game. I think the Falcons could win this game. It's Thursday Night Football. Anything can happen. But the Panthers played a tough game against the Saints last week. And I like the Panthers in this game.
I like the Panthers, and I like what their new coach is doing. I like Teddy Bridgewater. Christian McCaffrey is not going to be playing. They've done all this without Christian McCaffrey. And I like him a lot. And Joe, I'm also excited tonight because while we'll be watching the game, you and I will be back on the Stakes app playing their new combos.
That's right. Combos, which they're essentially little parlays.
Oh yeah.
And we got real into stakes during the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
And now we got a little Thursday Night Football. Like Thursday Night Football is perfect for stakes.
Oh, it's perfect. And as a quick reminder for all the dirtballs, or if you're new, Stakes is a free new app that takes game time to another level. You simply answer questions in the Stakes app about today's games or tonight's games, and you can win real cash. It's sort of like HQ Trivia meets sports, meets your group chat. And the best part is that it's totally free to download and free to play. Create your own private groups, and you can play against friends. That's STAKES. And why don't we go through a couple of these questions on their new combos platform, which I love. And again, these are on the app, so we have our own group chat. You can, if you download the Stakes app, simply go join our group chat. After you download, enter group code DIRTY, and you're in, and you can compete with us along with other dirtballs. Plus, Stakes is offering private group members special game perks to increase your chances of winning free cash. Stakes is currently only available for iPhones and iPad. Play for free, no credit card or purchase necessary. That's Stakes, STAKES, in the App Store. Okay, this is great. I love this. So again, these combos questions will be in our Dirtball group chat. Joe, let's go over some of these. Okay, so I'm looking at my phone. The first question they have for tonight's Falcons-Panthers game: who's going to win this battle between Atlanta and Carolina? I think we both just said Panthers, correct?
Yep.
So I'm marking that down. Okay, this is a good one. The Falcons have a great problem on their hands. They've got two stud wide receivers in Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley, but unfortunately, there's only one ball on the football field. Who's going to have the most receptions tonight? Julio Jones or Calvin Ridley, or a tie?
I like Calvin Ridley in yards, but I like Julio in receptions. So I've selected Julio.
Okay. I'm going to go with Calvin Ridley or tie. All right. How about this one? Who will be the first to either throw a pick or fumble the ball tonight? Falcons, Panthers, or no turnovers?
Well, if you pick no turnovers, you're reckless.
Yeah.
You're the Justin Turner of stakes users. I'm gonna say the Falcons.
Okay. I was going to say Falcons as well. And the last question for tonight's game: amazingly, after playing 7 games apiece this season, both the Falcons and Panthers have rushed for exactly 738 yards. So after tonight, who will have the most rushing yards this year? I am going to say Panthers.
I'm gonna say Panthers too. If we think the Panthers are gonna win, I think they've got to run the ball.
Yeah. So once again, guys, just download the Stakes app from the App Store and enter code DIRTY, and you're in, and you can play these great combos. And they have them for some of the college games tonight, some of the soccer matches that are happening. So go ahead and do that now. Okay, moving right along. The Patriots and the Bills. The Bills are 3.5-point favorites. This game is in Buffalo. It seems like a low spread to me.
So give me the number again.
3.5.
Who you got?
Man, my heart says that the Bills win, but are the Patriots going to continue to play at such a bad level? I think it's a trap. I'm going to go with the Patriots.
3.5 is the spread.
Yeah, and it's in Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm sort of with you. It's like, do the Patriots slide that far? I could just see it being a close game. I'm going to say the Patriots as well.
Okay. The Titans host the Bengals at home. I'm sorry, it's in Cincinnati. Excuse me. The Bengals are 5.5-point dogs at home against the Titans.
I love Joey Backdoor, but I'm going with the Titans on a bounce back game after losing to the Steelers. I think the Titans defense. I think the Titans defense, and I think Vrabel is smart enough where the strategy of let's throw the ball 60 times is not a strategy that's going to work against the Titans team.
Couldn't agree more. I think Burrow's going to struggle. It's going to take some rookie lumps this week, and I believe the Titans are going to win and win big. All right, the Raiders travel to the Browns.
The Raiders.
Yo, fool.
This game, this is like the problem child bowl.
The Browns
the Raiders and the Browns.
The Browns are 2.5-point favorites, Prano.
Cleveland?
This really is a tough game in Cleveland.
2.5. I think that's what they've dropped home field advantage to, right? 2.5.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is a tough one. Raiders looked okay last week, but couldn't finish.
Yeah.
Everybody's now on the Browns jock because of how Baker played last week. I'm going with the Raiders.
I like it.
I mean, there's, death, taxes, and the Browns letting you down when you think they've turned the corner.
Exactly. Do the Browns start 6-2?
I do not think they do. No.
No,
I'm going to go with the Raiders.
No way.
This might be a pick for me this week.
Yeah.
The Raiders money line.
I like it. I'm going to go with the Raiders as well. All right. Indy travels to Detroit. Indy coming off a bye.
By the way, Andy, you have multiple teams. You have multiple teams within even some certain divisions. You basically root for the NFC West. You're like NFC West greater than everybody. You're like low key still have some, Browns or Bengals love. We know it's deep in your heart. I think the Raiders are my second team. Like an AFC team in Vegas. Like, I like the Raiders. I want to be a Raiders fan.
Joe, look, you've always had this thing since we started this show 7 years ago.
I love Derek Carr. You know that about me.
You like John Gruden.
I like Gruden.
You like the colors.
He's a grinder.
You're a big fan of the Mexican people who are
no fool.
diehard Raiders fans. And I will say, man, that stadium, and I just drove by it a couple weeks ago again, that thing looks awesome.
Yeah.
When you drive on the 15 and it's right on the other side of the 15, across, there's Mandalay Bay on one side, and there's the highway, and there's what they're calling. You know what they're calling it?
The Death Star.
And I love that name, the Death Star.
Yeah.
It's this.
The Death Star is gray, but it's fine.
Oh, don't be that guy.
What do you mean?
You're like, well, the Death Star is gray technically.
But then they made the big blackout stadium. Like it just seemed like the black hole was.
What would be a better one? The Black Widow.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. Like I get that the black hole was in Oakland, but it's like the new black hole or something. I don't know. Yeah, the Death Star. It's fine. I like it.
I'm excited to go to a game there when fans are allowed.
Yeah, me too. As soon as fans are allowed there and it's safe, I'll be there. I'm not going to Justin Turner kiss a bunch of people on the mouth while I'm there, but I'll go and socially distance and watch a Raiders game.
He's become the poster child.
I'm not going to go with cancer patients, but
But what about people who are HIV but not technically HIV anymore?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I bet Magic just got to feel like he's playing with house money, right? Magic's
Right.
like, yo, dude, I survived HIV. I had sex with every woman, dude, whoever around the 80s.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned
Right.
about COVID. I survived HIV.
He's like, I'm alive. Arsenio's alive. This shit's all a hoax.
All right, the Colts and the Lions. This will be a good game. Detroit is dogs. Interesting. At home. Detroit's 2.5 dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think they should be. Colts, strong defense. Again, playing indoors. Maybe that helps with Philip Rivers' arm situation. Are the Colts coming off a bye? They didn't play last week, correct?
They are.
Yeah. I'm doing the same thing I did in this game as I did in the Browns game. Like the idea that the Lions, they come back. They have a big win last week against Atlanta. The idea that they put two in a row together, like I bet you in the history of the NFL, if you bet the Lions and the Browns to lose following every win in their history, I bet you'd be a millionaire.
That's an interesting look.
I'm going to go with the Colts.
I'm going to go with the Lions.
Free Matt Stafford, by the way.
Are you willing to say now on record what I've been saying? Like Philip Rivers just doesn't have it, man.
I've said this before about Philip Rivers, and I'll say it again. Like Philip Rivers, the arm thing is one thing. I just think he's the anti-clutch. I'm on board with Philip Rivers as the anti-clutch from the day he stepped into the league.
You're not willing to say he's got a noodle arm, though.
But here's my thing with Philip Rivers and a noodle arm is like, when was Philip Rivers' arm great? Philip Rivers looks like he's out there playing darts.
Yeah.
Like it's not like we're like, oh, Philip Rivers has lost his fastball. Philip Rivers was Jamie Moyer. Like I don't know if he had a fastball in the first place.
Jamie Moyer.
Like
great reference.
Like
Jamie Moyer pitched till he was what, like 45?
Yeah, like 49 or something like that. Some ludicrous number. Like Philip Rivers, and also if you look at the interceptions, and even in the last 2 years, this year and last year, Philip Rivers, they're all reckless throws.
Yeah.
They're like, what were you doing? What were you looking at? Like again, I don't think he's got dementia. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I just think it's like the anti-clutch. And yeah, he probably lost a little bit and now is trying to make the throws that he maybe used to be able to make. But like, I don't think his body is I don't think this is solely a physical thing. I think it's a mind-body connection here.
Going with the old Dr. John Sarno mind-body connection.
Philip Rivers thinks he's younger than he once was, and he had a noodle arm to begin with.
His sperm game is viral as ever, man. Guy is busting out kids. All right, this next game is an interesting spread for me. The Vikings travel to Green Bay. Packers are only 6.5-point favorites. I know it's a division game. The Packers are 5-1 against the spread this year. The Vikings, on the other hand, Joe, Oh, they're 3-3 against the spread. I'm going to go with the Packers in this.
This is a tough one. I actually think when you said it's only, I think that was, I think it's maybe even a little high. Like
What did I say?
6.5, right?
Yeah, it's
You
6.5.
You said it's only 6.5. I'm gonna go with the Packers just because like the Vikings give me no confidence that they're like sorting it out. 6.5 seems to me in a division game to be a little high. Where is it? It's in
Green Bay.
Yeah, I guess I'll go with the Packers. I'm not going to bet this game. I'll stay away from this game, but
this could have a backdoor cover on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it could be a good game. I think the Packers will win, but like as far as a pick goes, I'm not going to pick the Vikings when I just don't have any confidence in them whatsoever.
Well, this next spread is one of the
By the way,
largest.
Mike Zimmer loved the move of taking out Blake Snell. He loved it.
This next game is one of the largest spreads I've seen in recent memory. 19.5. The Jets are dogs in Kansas City.
Just enjoy the stacks of money you'll make betting against the Jets.
19.5?
Any team besides the Chiefs, I say bet 19. I say bet 19 in every game, except this game. Le'Veon Bell revenge game in Kansas City. The Jets are so bad that, I mean, when you talk about 3 touchdowns, when you're talking about an offense like the Chiefs and a defense like the Jets, could legitimately be 3 minutes of football. Yay or nay?
True.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
We'll go with the Jets just to mix things up a little. We're picking too many of the same games. All right, moving right along. The Steelers, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. Rams, Dolphins. This game will be in Miami.
Tua
time, baby.
Give me the Rams. What's the spread?
3.5. I'm going Rams all the way in this.
I'm going Rams. Look. This could go one of two ways. Tua's the next great Miami quarterback, and we get this one wrong. But game 1 against a good defense that looks pretty good on Monday night, that is trying to stay in the division. West to East is tough, but I'm going with the Rams.
Yeah, I agree.
Does Ryan Fitzpatrick take a snap in this football game?
Ooh, that'd be a great question for combos on Stakes app.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. I like it.
Bro, Aaron Donald is a man-child. I'm just saying, like, the Rams, if they play how they can play defensively, it's not even their offense.
Also, are the Rams undefeated since you left Los Angeles?
No, they got waxed by the 49ers. Yeah. Did you like my little back and forth about the Jared Goff tweets on Dirty Sports?
Yeah, I did. The funny thing is, like, we did this a couple years ago with somebody. I forget what shitty Denver quarterback it was that like overthrew some guy by 20 yards, and they were like, "How are you blaming him?"
Was it Simeon?
Yeah, it might have been. It's like, how are you blaming this on Simeon? It's like, dude, even if the guy stopped running, he missed it by 40 yards. And now, I mean, Jared Goff, he's not that guy.
Well, he's not. And you and I said, no,
I have to plug in my computer really quick, but continue.
Yeah, go for it. You know, and I want to reiterate as far as Jared Goff, guys, we never said he's shitty. We never said he's bad.
We said he's a medium pizza. Oh, motherfucker.
Now we have a blank screen with Joe.
It's all right. My computer just fell. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, well, that's exciting.
Jared Goff, he's a medium pizza. He's average. He's a 5. It's a 5 out of 10. He's a
Hold on.
he's a cheeseburger without any extra dressings on it. You're not getting the sauces. You're not getting the pickles, the tomato, the lettuce. You're just getting the cheese. That's what Jared Goff is. He's a plain cheeseburger. He's what my nephew orders because he's 8 years old. I don't want all that stuff on it.
He's what my nephew orders. Jared Goff is a bowl of pasta and butter because my nephew refuses to eat tomato sauce.
Yeah, I mean that's what he is. I'm not trying to knock the guy. Can he make the throws at times that he should? Yeah. Is he going to make spectacular throws? No. I mean, Jared Goff is what he is.
Yeah.
And all those things that
overpaid.
And that's what I was just going to say. All those things, all I'm saying is that he's overpaid.
Yeah.
But he's got a team around him, and I think they win and cover this game. All right, this is going to be a good one, Joe. Steelers-Ravens. In Baltimore, Ravens are 4-point favorites.
Wow. That seems high, right?
It's a reckless spread right there.
Wow. I was getting ready to pick the Ravens because, I mean, I've certainly underestimated the Steelers so far this year. Can own that. I was ready for it to be a 1-point game in either direction, basically a pick 'em. 4 seems too high to me. I'm gonna take the Steelers.
Yeah. All right, on to the later games. The Chargers travel to Denver, where they are 3-point favorites.
Chargers, man. Chargers looked good last week. I'll take the Chargers. Denver looked, fine defensively. It's tough.
I'm going to go Denver.
It is in Denver. I'll stick with the Chargers just to be different from you. That's a stay away game for me, though.
Yeah, stay away from that one.
I'll have my picks this week because I like a couple of these lines.
All right, the Saints travel to Chicago, where they are 4.5-point favorites. The Bears' offense is just not fun to watch.
4.5 points outside in late October in Chicago.
I'm going Bears.
I'm going Bears as well.
All right. My boy missed. Go ahead.
We won't be able to play calls this week, correct?
Yeah, because we can't. Well, here's the thing, guys. I want to play calls. I've been wanting to play calls. We got some great calls. The problem is when you share screen, I can't be having people's
phone numbers on the screen.
There
is a method. I'm thinking of running this through like some sort of mixer. And if anybody is tech savvy, slide into our DMs. How we could potentially do this if you're a Zoom nerd. But why I asked Andy is we did get some sort of Michael Thomas update via a call. Is that correct? Like, is there something that we missed?
Well,
or is this some sort of insider news?
No, it was said on the Ryan Russillo podcast. One of the dirtballs who listened to that. It was what was it called? I guess Michael Thomas his Twitter handle is Can't Guard Mike.
Right.
And he was saying, what did he say? They mock that in the locker room and they call him something based off his Twitter handle. I'm forgetting it. I'm sorry.
Can't find Mike.
I mean, yeah, we're not gonna be able to hear it.
It's fine. I just didn't know. I saw it on the rundown. I didn't know if somebody was giving us some insight to what the deal was, as opposed
basically to sum it up, it sounds like the people in the locker room don't like him and he's a diva.
Right. Okay.
But he was also a wide receiver in the NFL. They're all divas.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was some, insider info on when he could be expected, what's happening, will he ever play football again?
Who knows?
Yeah. Okay.
It's a weird situation to me because you never heard anything about him until recently.
Right.
Like he got paid. Now he turned into a diva. I don't know. Regardless, I think both of us are going to take Chicago in this game because 4.5 is too big.
Yeah.
All right. The 49ers, who are playing some really good football right now, travel to Seattle. This will be a fun game. The Seahawks are 3-point favorites at home. My heart is telling me that the Seahawks are going to start losing a few games. Like they started 5-0 like I could see like a 2-2 or like 3-3 stretch or something.
And is this that game?
God, their defense is just so bad. And I think they can keep Russ in check better. I'm gonna go with the Niners in this game.
I am as well.
All right. God, this is a bad one. I mean, can we just not get these guys on prime time? Sunday Night Football is Cowboys at Eagles.
I thought you were just gonna trash my team. We have three of the NFC East teams playing in prime time this week. Cowboys, Eagles. What's the spread?
9 for the Eagles.
Wow, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
Who's playing quarterback?
I don't care. Is there a team in the NFC East that should be a 9-point favorite over any other team in football, let alone another team in the NFC East?
It's a great point.
I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to have to agree with you. It's such a big spread.
If the Vegas money line matches that spread. By the way, here's the thing with money lines, guys. When you bet money lines, you got to be prepared to lose more of them than you win, but you make up for that by winning more money than when you lose it. I wouldn't feel super confident in a Cowboys win, but if the money line on that matches the spread, which it doesn't always correlate exactly, but if it's as heavy as that spread
plus 330 for the Cowboys.
That's good value, guys. You tell me if you play this game 4 times that the Cowboys don't win one of them, I think that's reckless.
I'm going to go with the Cowboys as well.
Might sprinkle a little Cowboys money line out there.
All right, your Giants are at home against TB12 and the Bucks. You guys are 12-point dogs. Shaking your head.
12's a lot, but nah. I'm going to take the Giants. 12's a lot to me, but they could easily get blown out in that game.
I'm going to take the Bucks. Joe, where are you at with Daniel Jones right now?
Where I'm at with Daniel Jones, and it's not going to be help. You know what? Sorry, I'm going to switch my pick to the Bucks. I forgot the entire Giants offensive line has COVID. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bucks. Where I'm at with Daniel Jones is that he certainly has not shown me without a shadow of a doubt that he is the future of the New York Football Giants at quarterback. I also think it's unfair to him, given the circumstances, to say that he's not. The question for me with Daniel Jones is, what is the other option right now? The Giants have 1 win. There's no sign that the Jets win a game. So Trevor Lawrence will be gone. To me, it seems like the Giants drafting like a Fields and just going another first-round quarterback pick when there's so many other holes in this team, it just seems like it sets up me to have this question asked again 3 years from now. How do you feel about Justin Fields? Well, I don't know that he's for the future of the Giants quarterback, but maybe if you had an offensive line, I'd have a better idea of being able to tell if the defense could get off. So it just seems like. Is
this his second or third year?
This is his third year. No, this is his second year. Yeah. And it just seems to me like it would be unfair to give up on him at quarterback there unless you had a sure thing. Now, flip side of that coin is if the Giants trade for Matthew Stafford in the offseason, sure. If, some other quarterback somewhere becomes available but I just don't know who that guy is, Stafford's a great example. A guy who's maybe also in a bad situation. He wants a new look. Yeah. Do I want Daniel Jones to start over Matthew Stafford? No. Or yes, no, I do not want him to start over Matthew Stafford. We're not going to get Trevor Lawrence, but the idea of taking another quarterback to replace him early in the draft, it's there's just so many holes.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a crapshoot with these quarterbacks.
Yeah. And Daniel Jones looks great at times. And also, I mean, look, that run, the way it ended was one, you know, tragedy, but also for you to fall on an 80-yard run when you have 10 yards between you and the closest defender, it can only happen if you sprint away from defenders.
Sure.
So it's like, it's tough. I'm not ready to give up on Daniel Jones, but if there was a better option out there, I'd be fine sending him back to the bench for a year.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, those are our week 8 picks, and that is the episode. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Dirty Sports. You can drop an iTunes review, leave your Twitter or Instagram handle. I will follow you back and get koozies out, because I promise I will, because my stuff arrived this week.
There you go, Andy.
It's at the local U-Haul near where I'm living. So, yeah, I will start getting some koozies out. So drop an iTunes review with your Twitter or Instagram handle. You can follow me at Andy Ruther on all social media. Joe Prano.
At Joe Prano on Instagram, at Joe Prano on Venmo, at Fix Your Life on Twitter. Joe Prano Takes a Stand is now available on Amazon Prime.
Oh, shit.
So if you want to watch the video version and you never did it because you were afraid of, Vimeo on demand, troubles, it is now available on Amazon Prime Video. So you can watch it there. It's available for free on all the streaming services, music-wise, Apple Music, Spotify, all that. We're coming up on Election Day, the 4-year window of the Joe Prano Takes a Stand run. You asked what would I be doing on Election Day. It's certainly going to be a lot different than the last one. So give that a listen, give that a watch, and stay tuned for new stuff.
Perfect. All right, Dirtballs, thank you for supporting the show. I don't care if you vote or not. I will never tell you to vote. So I'm going to say that before we end the show. Don't understand everybody telling everybody to vote. Do what you want. I don't care. That's why I believe in the individual freedom. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Now, are you voting, Andy?
I am.
Are you voting in Ohio?
I cannot.
You can't. You weren't there. So your vote will be a mail-in to California?
Correct. You had to.
So basically, you're not voting.
You had to register October 5th in Ohio, but you also needed an Ohio driver's license. So I was not living here, and I did not have a license. So
got it.
I will be voting absentee for the state of California.
Nice.
And if you treat me well, you might get a vote, Joe.
Oh, thanks, Andy. Appreciate it.
All right, Dirtballs, that's the show. You guys have a great weekend. Much love for all the support. And as always, stay dirty.